Hi, guys and gals. Episode number 38. Gosh, I'm happy to say I totaled it up, which I haven't done in a long time, but we've had almost 3,000 views on my little vlog sites. That really makes me kind of feel good. Maybe you guys think I'm interesting or what I'm talking about is interesting or whatever. Viewers who are carefully watching will realize that I am not in my office today. I've been booted because we're having a little bit of work done there, so I should be back. Should be back on Thursday. So we were talking about when we were last here. We were talking about Lady Lovely Locks, and gosh, everything going on greased wheels. A little curve when Robbie came in. Robbie London was the new Executive Vice President of Creative Affairs, but that's okay. That's the way that things go. But everything really moving along really well. So I come home one night, pick up a pizza, and I've got a nice bottle of Merlot. Merlot was the hot red wine at the time. And I'm feeling, really pretty celebratory. I got a lot of these script fees coming in for writing Lady Lovely Locks and the Pixie Tales scripts. Life is pretty good. Assigned a couple out to Howard, which was Howard Cohn, which was great. Always, a prolific writer, able to switch genres from the Barbarian Queen to Lady Lovely Locks and her Pixie Tales. So everything was going good. Got a lot on my plate. Robbie kind of threw me off a little bit. It's something I had to digest, but that's okay. Getting ready for my cruise, so I'm going to be going away for a couple weeks. Kind of like I said, a lot on my plate. And on my plate is pizza. And being in a upbeat mood, I went beyond my usual limit of 3 pieces, and I consumed 5 pieces of pizza. And I had maybe 3 or 4, maybe 4 or 5 glasses of Merlot. And it was feeling pretty good, so thinking about all the wonderful characters in this series and the villains, Duchess Ravenwaves and her comb gnomes and all those characters. And it's getting kind of late, so I decide, okay, I'm going to knock off and go to sleep. And something happened that had never happened to me before. Get into bed, and usually it takes me, because I don't know how it is for you, but for me, when I'm working on something and I work up until I go up to go to bed, I'm wound up, I'm really into it. So it takes me about an hour to unwind. Kim, she's so blessed, she lays down in 30 seconds, she's out. And, that's really nice to be able to do that. I wish I had that gift, but I don't. But this night, I don't know if it was all the carbs or the wine or the combination of things. This night, man, I'm out, okay? And I had never done this before. I'm dreaming in color. And I'm not just talking color. I'm talking like Technicolor, like Wizard of Oz Technicolor. And of course, I'm dreaming about Lady Lovely Locks and the Pixie Tales. And that's okay, it's scene in a meadow, and there's Lady Lovely Locks with her long blonde hair, and her little pixie tails are flying around, and it's pretty serene. And then all of a sudden, it took a little bit of a turn. And here comes Duchess Ravenwaves, the villain. She comes on a black steed over the top of the mountain, and she's got all these comb gnomes flying around with her, and she's coming down, down the hill at a full gallop, and Lady Lovely Locks is all alone down there, and she's unprotected, and I'm concerned about that, and her back is to me, and I remember this really vividly, okay? And as Ravenwaves gets closer to her, Lady Lovely Locks turns and she looks at me, and I kind of zoom in, And Kim's laughing. It's easy to laugh now.
Yeah.
And I zoom in, and she's got blood red eyes, and she's glaring at me, and I'm backing up, and she's coming towards me, and all of the villains are coming towards me. And I wake up. Oh my gosh! I'm like in a dead sweat. I was in sweatpants and a t-shirt, and like I am now, but I was just drenched, So take a shower. I don't know. I guess the wine probably had something to do with it. But I take a shower and I'm drained, okay, but I got to get to work. So I walk into DIC, and the last thing I want to hear is Lori Crawford, now Crawford Anderson, coming up to me and saying, Andy's decided that from now on we're going to have creative meetings every Tuesday at 9:00. Like, it's the last thing I need.
In the morning or night?
In the morning. Funny girl. She knows, she knows I'm not good in the mornings. And on this morning, I'm particularly not good. This is not what I want to hear. I've drained all of my creativity the night before with my nightmare. So what can I do? You got to do what you got to do. So I walk into the conference room, and Lori's on one side, Andy's at the head of the table, and the Brain Trust is there, Mert Rich is there, and Howard's there, Lise Maliani and Michael are on the other side, Robbie London's there. And everybody's chatting, and we're really having like an affable meeting, and I'm just trying to keep my eyes open. And it kind of struck me that we weren't getting into the meeting. It struck me that we were waiting for something or someone. And after about 5 minutes, I found out who we were waiting for. The door opens, and in walks this big guy, about 6'2", 275 pounds, most of it muscle, and the archetypal Hollywood producer, okay? In those days, you'd wear your shirt a button or two much unbuttoned, have a couple gold chains around your neck, hair slicked back. He had dark hair slicked back. And Andy says to everybody, he says, I want to introduce all of you to Haim Saban. And in those days, nobody knew who Haim Saban was. Those of you who are into animation, I'm sure that you know that Haim was the owner of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and hired me to write the original development work for it and the original series Bible for it. But at that time, Haim and his partner, Shuki Levy, another great guy, did music. That was what they had. They had a music company, and they did music for animated shows. And one of the best, Haim, there's no businessman in the world like Haim Saban. Okay, tough, but so fair. And I mean, forget Gordon Gekko, okay? I mean, just forget it. Haim is in a league of his own, always has been, always will be. And we correspond every month. I send him a little note reminding him how grateful I am for all he's done for me. And, he always responds very kindly. But on this day, all I knew was that now I had learned that Haim and Shuki did the music for the DIC shows. Well, Haim made a deal when Jean first came over to the United States with one show, Inspector Gadget, that he and Andy had created. And I made them an offer that he would do all of the songs and music for the DIC shows for $0, no charge at all. And all he wanted was the ASCAP royalties. And Andy and Jean, I mean, look, I'm sure they knew what the deal was, but they came in with their eyes wide open. And when you're just starting a company, you want to try to keep your production costs down as much as possible. Well, $0 for doing the music, that's a pretty good deal. So They made the deal for him. Haim made millions of dollars on that deal, and well deserved. You know, Jean always used to say, as I told you in another episode, the least expensive thing you can do is give away points in a project that you don't have yet on the air. We didn't have all those other shows on the air yet, so they made the deal with him, and we start the meeting, and you know, Haim took over the meeting. Okay, and Andy is like a killer shark, but a slow-moving killer shark, okay? You don't want to sit down in a poker game with Andy Hayward, trust me, okay? And, you know, like I told you in some of the meetings that those characters from Cleveland, he would just kind of lay back and watch everything. And Haim just takes over this meeting entirely. He's going, and immediately I sensed that we were the similar type of people. You know, I want everything to be like that. I want it done yesterday. Larry Mortorf, wonderful producer, former head of Kushner Lock, and worked, I think, CAA or ICM, VP of business, but a great guy. Larry would always tell me, look, Jack, nobody works on the schedule that you do. You know, you work weekends, you work holidays, you send out emails, you make phone calls, you want everybody to call you back immediately. And that's not how the industry works. And he's right, except for Haim Saban. I wrote Haim an email a couple days ago, and I was asking for, you know, a minor favor, introduction to somebody. And it was Sunday night on Labor Day weekend, and you're talking about a guy that's a billionaire, okay? You know, I'm like a pimple compared to Haim, okay? Yeah, I've been successful, but, you know, he's an amazing guy. I told you what he did for, you know, a child oncology wing in the hospital in Los Angeles, and all of his and Cheryl's philanthropic endeavors. They're amazing people. And, you know, who am I to him? I'm a guy that, okay, I wrote the original development work for Power Rangers. I wrote a couple hundred episodes for him. But I'm just a guy. Well, it's a Sunday night. I send him the email. In an hour, I get an email back from him. Who has to do that, you know? And I sensed in that first meeting, we had a lot of things in common. And we just kind of clicked. And I would find out in years to come that he would have a really profound impact upon me, upon my family, upon my career, upon my livelihood, and not really asking anything in return except that I gave him my best when I was writing. And I think I always did that. And I'll talk about Haim a little more in future episodes, but for now, mentally, I'm recovering from my nightmare the night before, dreaming about Lady Lovely Locks and her pixie tails and Duchess Raven hair. So, Raven waves. So anyway, we're going to move on and continue in this vein at DIC Entertainment. I hope you enjoy this pulling back the curtain, meeting some of the towering characters in animation from really the golden age of television animation. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for being here. Remember, subscribe, like us. Come on, I want some of those subscribes up there, okay? Thank you. Take care.